Hey folks, it was almost a month ago at the time of recording this video that we saw the most recent trailer for Tears of the Kingdom. I'd say it's a pretty common opinion amongst fans that this was the best trailer for the game yet. It showed so much, so quickly, and yet this is only scratching the surface of what the full game will contain. That's the awesome thing about trailers. Ever since this game was announced to be in development back in 2019, I've had many different hopes for the game, and I've changed, added to, and edited that list over the past few years, and this most recent trailer has made me think about some new hopes I have for the game. In today's video, we're going to go over them and discuss their possibilities. Before getting into it, be sure to go and grab yourself a snack or drink, and sentiments get featured right here. And also be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel out. And let's get into this one. My first new hope for this game is directly inspired from one major occurrence seen in the latest trailer. That being, the Lomai Labyrinths rising into the sky. After seeing a set of locations from Breath of the Wild outside of Hyrule Castle lifting up, my mind went wild with ideas for other, already known locations that could be given this awesome treatment in Tears of the Kingdom. Of course, I've discussed a few locations over the past year or so, and different ideas for them being repurposed, but this rising concept has sparked a bunch of ideas in my mind. The general hope here is more locations rising into the sky, or just to open up something below, in general. Some specific places I'd like to see getting this treatment are the Arbiter's Grounds, something below Lake Hylia, the Akkala Citadel, Skull Lake, and the Colosseum. When it comes to the far reaches of the Gerudo Desert and the long-forgotten Arbiter's Grounds, I'd love to see them rise into the sky, or just enough to open up something beneath, ideally showing off a ton of new references to the original grounds from Twilight Princess. Below Lake Hylia could be something rising from the depths to reveal a secret entrance to a long-lost Zora temple, similar to how in Twilight Princess we explore the Lakebed Temple. The Akkala Citadel appears to be gone in the trailer so far, and an idea I have there is that it itself has shot high into the sky. This could mean it's pulled up more with it and we need to explore that, or it reveals an underground pathway to unknown depths below, perhaps a dungeon of some kind with connections to the royal family of Hyrule. As for Skull Lake, I just find this place rather fascinating, and I know many players do as well. It's such an odd but yet cool location. Aside from the obvious skull shape from above, it also has these fascinating giant flowers beneath the water. It's a bit far-fetched, but it would be really cool to see the actual skull lift into the sky, and maybe form a floating 3D skull. We could explore whatever is brought up to form this shape, or once again explore a pathway beneath, perhaps underwater caverns. As for the Colosseum, I think this location would make for a very cool overworld or mini-boss battle once again. Perhaps not with the Lionel that calls it home in Breath of the Wild, but with a new, terrifying and dominant enemy of the sky. A sort of callback to how it was used in Breath of the Wild, but now, high in the sky. A dragon perhaps? Whatever the case may be, I hope that we see more locations from Breath of the Wild rising into the sky in Tears of the Kingdom, whether the reason being to reveal something below, or to explore again in a new way, in the sky. Next up, I hope that there will be an absolute blowout of classic enemy returns. Now, when I say classic, I am really just referring to anything from the old style linear Zelda games, essentially anything that isn't Breath of the Wild. We saw Breath of the Wild bring back and reimagine some classic enemies, such as the Lionel and Hinox. In Tears of the Kingdom, we've already seen two likely returns in this Dragon on the Bridge, likely being a new take on Gleeok, or at least hopefully, as well as what appears to be a new take on Redeads. There's also this thing which could be some sort of take on a like-like. This has my imagination going wild for other classic enemies that could make a return. First and foremost, an enemy I've talked about several times and different ways they could make a return, Darknuts. Specifically the version we saw in Twilight Princess. I think they'd not only offer a very exciting and much needed sword combat based enemy in this new era of Zelda games, as I felt Breath of the Wild lacked proper duels, but Darknuts would also offer a new, large and daunting enemy to come across. These guys are in the same category as Lionels for me. Big, strong, agile and skilled. They'd fit very well inside dungeons or the underground. Whilst being very scared of them myself, I do believe a return of Goma, or arachnid-like enemies in general, would be very fitting for the darker tones of this game. They'd also fit in very well underground or in dungeons. Perhaps the overworld as well, going off these old Guardian concepts for Breath of the Wild. Just imagine exploring the new Dark Kingdom of Hyrule and coming across a giant, hairy, 8-legged beast. Ugh. It fits, but ugh. Moving on swiftly, Wall Masters and Floor Masters would also be a very fitting return. Basically, anything creepy works. On top of that, I'd love to see Pose return. Perhaps a reimagined take on them. Maybe more humanoid, but just as spiritual. There are tons that could make a grand return, but those are the few I'd love to see return in the depths and overworlds of this game. My next hope is a full-on expansive crafting/repair system. Now, let me clarify a few things before getting properly into this one. No, I will not be disappointed if this isn't part of the game. I also do not think it needs to be. I just think it would be cool. With that said, I know there has been a bit of debate on whether or not something like this would fit and work well in a Zelda game. The discussion really picked up following this latest trailer and us seeing what appears to be vehicles pieced together by ourselves, using this green gloop to bind pieces. It doesn't confirm it in my opinion, as this could just be a sort of fetching quest and we all build the same thing. But at the same time, it could also not be. It could be a system where you can craft vehicles in any way you like, and going off how Nintendo have been describing the game, it kinda feels that way. Which also sparked the topic of, if you were able to craft those, how about items too? So in general, I do hope we see some sort of take on crafting and repairing, both for travelling and for items. I think it would be a fun idea to try and offer a fresh take on how they work in Zelda games. There have been hints of more traditionally unique items returning in the sequel and possibly crafting them. As a general idea without many specifics in mind, that sounds pretty cool to me. I wouldn't like this to be the case for every single item, but some, that'd be cool. Applying this to regular items such as swords, shields and bows is also pretty interesting. Personally, I like the concept of Breath of the Wild's weapon durability, but felt it was flawed. A good way to fix it in my opinion is adding in a crafting/repair system to repair damaged weapons. I'm not going to delve into in-depth specifics as that can be a video of its own, but just generally, I am now hoping to see some form of crafting/repairing in both the vehicles department, but also the items/weapons department. A hope of mine that doesn't really come from the latest trailer, but rather a past game, Twilight Princess, is the return of hidden skills, or something along those lines. If you don't know exactly what those are, in Twilight Princess, Link would have several encounters with the hero Shade, Link from 100 years ago in Ocarina of Time by the way, and learn new combat moves. This would vary from finishing moves to fancy rolling around, swinging your sword and being a complete and utter badass. I would love for something like this to return in Tears of the Kingdom and expand on the basic set of combat moves set down in Breath of the Wild. It would work well with some of those previously mentioned enemies I'd also love to see return, Darknuts in particular. Hidden skill moves were very helpful in enhancing the combat experience in one-on-one combat, something I also hope is more present in Tears of the Kingdom. A little honourable mention before getting into my final new hope for the game. Please, for the love of Hylia, let us pet all animals. The doggos deserve love, and also bring back cats and allow us to pet them and pick them up again, like in the best Zelda game ever, Twilight Princess. Basically, let us love the animals some more. Cheers. Oh, and also bring back proper fishing. I'd appreciate it. My final new hope for this game is development on Fi's lore regarding the Master Sword. Previously, this was just something that interested me, but wasn't really a big hope of mine. However, something about this latest trailer has me intrigued even more. Fi is the spirit within the blade, sealed within there for all of time at the end of Skyward Sword, the game in which the blade is pieced together into the Master Sword. We've seen hints of their presence over the years, and most recently in a memory from Breath of the Wild. Princess Zelda even refers to Fi. However, in Tears of the Kingdom we can see that the blade is seriously damaged, much more than ever before. What does this mean for Fi? I've asked the question before, but is Fi dead? We simply don't know yet. I hope that more is explained in regards to Fi specifically. They don't need to be mentioned by name, but even just more on the spirit within the blade and what's going on in that regard, in regards to the Master Sword situation, would be very cool. It's a crucial part of Zelda lore, and whilst it doesn't need to be explained, it would be very cool to learn some new information regarding all of this. In conclusion, I have a lot of hopes for Tears of the Kingdom. However, let me make it clear, these are not demands or expectations. I won't be that disappointed if they aren't a part of the game. It's going to be a very fun experience no matter what. So let's wait and see what happens when the game comes out in just under 2 months. Be sure to drop a wee like down below if you enjoyed, and also consider subscribing for more fabulous Zelda content all the way up to the release of Tears of the Kingdom and beyond. Follow my social media pages linked below to keep up to date, or send in a snack or drink photo. And as always, a huge, massive, amazing shout out goes to all of my channel supporters. Thanks a ton. Your support really helps me to make these videos week in, week out, all month long, 365 days a year. If you'd like to join them and get yourself a shout out upon joining, and your name at the end of every video, then consider supporting via the links below. Thanks for watching. I hope you all have an amazing day or night, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.